everyone. Hope you're all feeling well. I'm doing well. New month, new year. 2022 has a good ring to it. And if you're new here, I'm Tammy. Welcome. If you saw my last video, it was an update on my life, basically where was I, in 2021. And I left off saying that my next video would be attending my grandma's funeral because she died in December. So here we are. The funeral, so it's a Zoom funeral due to COVID, of course. So we got the link to go on it. And I looked at it more like, it's a celebration of life, a celebration of my grandma's life. So that's the spirit I went into it. I knew that because it was, her and I shared the same kingdom hall, or congregation, I should say. And so I knew that I would see people that, were from my old congregation. I'm in my own home with the video, with the Zoom. I don't know, it just felt comfortable because you're not walking into a kingdom hall and expecting to be either shunned or expecting a barrage of like love bombing kind of thing, or you just don't know what to expect sometimes when you're on the out going into a kingdom hall. The elder that gave the talk, I've known him for a long time. He was is the presiding overseer of the congregation I used to be in. And so I was known my grandparents, but my grandparents for a very long time. So it was totally suitable. And he's a great speaker. And, he did a great job. He's a very warm personality. So it was good. My expectations going into it was that it would be a total sales pitch basically. But I was surprised, actually. The first 15 minutes were basically all about my grandma and her life and her family. That was a nice surprise. And then then it switched over to how are we going to see her again, and it's up to us, and basically the resurrection hope. And it definitely went into what you typically know as a Jehovah's Witness funeral. So a lot of scripture, a lot of talking about paradise, resurrection, all that kind of stuff. But it was much different than what you'd expect in going to a funeral at the actual congregation at the Kingdom Hall. Because my last one there was actually my grandpa, so her husband, and that was in 2015. And that was like way more anxiety ridden than, sitting in the comfort of your home on, looking at Zoom. At the end of it, they did a slideshow of a lot of my grandma's pictures of her life, her family. So that was nice. And then I didn't know this. Well, I didn't have a ton of expectations going into a Zoom funeral in the first place. So I kept my expectations low, thinking that it'd be the typical preach fest. But it wasn't. So I was happily surprised that most of it wasn't, or at least half of it wasn't. But then after it was done, so after the slideshow and everything, then they have these breakout rooms. I don't know if you're familiar with Zoom. You can have breakout rooms. And I'm assuming, actually, now that I've experienced it with the JW group, that this is probably how they do their meetings, where they go into breakout rooms and associate and interact with each other. So over the whole COVID thing, so not being able to be in person. So here's my thing. I went into it with low expectations. This actually was more about the person and less about the preaching, which was very nice. Secondly, the Zoom thing, I thought it'd be very impersonal. I thought it'd be just like, very impersonal. But it was actually good. I don't know, it was a good experience for me. My sister, one of my sisters, came over, and so her and her husband, me and my husband, we attended, and it was nice just in that, because we were doing our own little like celebration of her life, and we had wine because we're like, it's a celebration, like if my grandma was here, we'd probably have some wine, my grandma and grandpa, and so it was kind of like that. And then, okay, so then after the talk and everything and the preaching bit, and then they had these breakout rooms. So a breakout room is basically, you see a handful, probably there, I think there was probably around like 10 or 15 of these breakout rooms, and some of them had titles on them, such as like the family room. And so you could go in to these rooms and like give your condolences to the family. So there was more family in there. So I popped in there and said hello to some of my family. And it was kind of odd because some of my family didn't actually say hello back, but that's okay. You just keep being you. And it didn't really discourage me. I was like, oh, that's too bad. But that's on them. I did see my parents, which was great. And they were very happy to see us and very welcoming, as you know, they've changed a lot of their stance on talking with us, us as in me and my sisters, because none of us are in the truth and the religion anymore. So that was nice to see them. And then some of my cousins, aunts, uncles, that sort of thing. So I didn't get to see everyone because not everyone stuck around, I don't think. So, and then I jumped into a breakout room that I didn't really know who was going to be in these rooms, right? The only one that actually had a title on it was family, the family room. So I went into this other room, and lo and behold, here there's a whole lot that were actually from my ex-congregation. And including the presiding overseer that had just given the talk for my grandma's funeral. So I thanked him for doing a great job, because he did, and just keeping it nice and warm. And I said it was really nice that he brought in more about my grandma's life. Sorry, I'm just getting over like a cold. I've been sick for the last 3 weeks. Just sorry. So I'm sorry that I thought it'd be better, but being outside is really nice because it's snowing, which I love, but it's just so fresh, and right at the ocean's edge is always nice. So I go into this room, and there's all these people that are from my ex-congregation, which is my grandma's congregation as well, right? I was like, actually, it was just me. So I was like, hello, and I'm like saying their names and saying hi to everyone, and I was actually happy, and yeah, it was great to see them. And the other thing about being on a Zoom, they can't, what are they gonna do? Like they're actually they all said hello, and they all, like, you know, I didn't stay in there long because it was like, what are we gonna talk about a whole lot of? But yeah, I felt really good about it. And then going into other rooms where I saw people, like family friends that I haven't seen in like, oh my gosh, like 10, 20, 30 years, like kids that I grew up with. Like, you know, when you're in the religion a long time, you end up knowing a lot of people, right? But yeah, it was actually a great experience overall, as much as a funeral experience can be, but a Jehovah's Witness experience of a funeral, yeah, it's way better than going to a congregation, especially your ex-congregation, and a Kingdom Hall where everyone is based. You just feel like you're ready for someone to start preaching at you. This was a different one. And then one of the breakout rooms where I was talking to some of our old family friends that I hadn't seen in ages. One of our friends he's an elder, and he was actually saying about how it was so different than regular talks. So that was actually really nice too, that they actually recognized that too. So I just wanted to give you a little update on that as to, you know, how that all went. And yeah, put it in the comments, like, if you guys have been to a JW funeral lately, a Zoom one. I love to hear everyone's, their experiences, your experiences, on how that went for you. And yeah, so I'll see more of you guys. And I read all your comments, as I always tell you, because I do. And I try to reply as much as I can. But yeah, I'll leave it there. And take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll see you next time. And if you like this, please consider subscribing. We'll see you next time. Bye.